G'day, this is Captainoob, and we're back in Fallout 4 finally. It's been a very, very long time, but I'm back in Fallout 4. I've had a little bit of a hiatus, and in that hiatus, a lot of mod weapons have been released, so I'm going to come back and cover them all, and also do some Fallout 76 stuff at the same time. So a lot of videos will be made in this period, so yeah, stay tuned for lots more content coming out very, very soon. This is a H&K UMP. Not a 45 though, it's not a UMP 45 because it's actually a little bit of a caliber switching attachment point. But anyways, this is a highly customizable standalone weapon with custom sounds and animations, which are really, really good. So we're starting off with a very high quality one. I think this one has been sought after. There was a UMP that I had, I think it was Modern Firearms, and there wasn't any custom animations, and you know, that left something to be desired. The models and textures on this look really, really good too, so it's definitely of high quality. So let's get started with these attachments, and of course we're going to make this the most powerful that we can, advanced receiver. We'll make the barrel a little bit lighter for increased hipfire accuracy, sounds good. And there's a whole bunch of sights, including the Seymour, like the Simpsons. There's a Delta Point, like a little pistol one that you can get in Battlefield 4, Basker, I like that one. There's some EOTechs, just a whole bunch of reflex sights and some scopes down here. I think the Spectre is a night vision one, but I think I'll just go with a good old EOTech. I love myself a good EOTech. And of course for the muzzles, there's a whole bunch of suppressors and a muzzle brake. I'm definitely going to grab one of these, you know, without a suppressor, so all of you whiny bastards in the comments can actually hear this thing unsuppressed. I'll go for a recoil compensating stock, even though the stocks don't actually change. The only one that does sort of change is the folded stock there, which, you know, doesn't actually do anything to help you recoil at all. Obviously it makes a bit of sense, but oh, there's actually a little bit of a hexagon pattern on that suppressor. Nice. Alright, moving on. So this is the caliber changing part of it, and it says 40 mil here. I might be running an older version of the mod, but yeah, 40 mil. Also, you can change it to the 9 mil, which uses the 38 special rounds, which changes the mag, but it doesn't change the damage. It does increase your fire rate, though, so if you want to go full DPS, then, you know, that's the way to do it. But it'll keep this as a UMP 45 with those 45 little bullets in it. And you can change what you have on the bottom rail, including a couple of grips. We'll just go for a vertical grip here. And you can chuck a laser sight or a flashlight on the side if you want. Why not? We'll just chuck on everything, all the bells and whistles, and you can have that on or off, depending on what you like. And of course, we'll just attach a flashlight on the other side, which is that one. And you can change the damage. There's a bit of a damage slider if 226 is not quite doing it for you. But, you know, with Ace Operator, we get an extra 25% out of that. So I think this should be quite strong enough. And of course, a legendary effect is there if you need it. Alright, I'll create one more of these, unsuppressed, and we can get started. Alrighty, so here we are in Target Practice Plaza, and here's our UMP in first person, aiming down sights. Looks pretty good, and I don't have full bullets in this, so there's the reload animation just first off. It is a little sped up, so reload animation snobs probably don't like that, but that's what it looks like in third person. As you can tell, this thing isn't too big, nor is it too small. It's just, you know, it's well sized. It's actually pretty good, and you'll see that the stock actually meets the shoulder. A lot of vanilla weapons sort of don't do that, so that's pretty good attention to detail there. So without further ado, I guess we'll get started. Also, this thing has 40 bullets in its mag, despite having like a 25 round mag. At least that's what my Battlefield knowledge tells me. But yeah, I feel like it's got a little bit more than it ought to. There's no recoil on this thing, as you can tell. Barely any, and it does sound pretty cool, I guess. Not the sounds that I expected out of this thing, although I did use this thing a lot in the Battlefield games, and their sound design was really second to none. So it sounds more like a COD weapon than a Battlefield weapon, to be honest, but which is not a bad thing. I don't mind a little bit of COD now and then, but I do think the sounds are a lot better in the Battlefield games. Can I pacify? No, I can't. So aiming at targets at this range, it'd probably be easy to just hit them, even though we'll probably get a little bit of a range penalty. This thing is an SMG, so, you know, with that in mind, it's not going to be the most snipery of weapons, but that being said, this thing is doing pretty damn good, and there was some reload, there was a little bit of reverb in that reload sounds, which is kind of strange. How fast are you, or how hard are you jamming the mags into this thing? So sneaking aside, this thing can do pretty well. This one's got the folded stock in it, just having a look at that in third person. Also, we've got the muzzle brake on this, so we get to hear this thing loud and proud. It also has the UMP 9 things on it, which reduces our ammo capacity for some reason. I might be running an old version of this, but I think it's still the same, really. Go for a critical. There we go. And we're off to the races again. Captain Bridge is down, which means we can start mowing down everyone in here. I did increase this thing's damage by like 20%, so it can compete with the suppressed one. Because, you know, I lost that a bonus from Ace Operator. And as you can tell, it's pretty damn good. We could just mince everyone in here. And by the way, you might be thinking that I'm playing on easy. I'm not. I'm actually playing on very hard. And to prove that, I'll show you. See, I'm on very hard difficulty, but at level like 120 something that I am, you'll end up with like 10 endurance, you'll end up with like 1400 HP. So that's why, you know, in here, the only thing that is a real threat to me is when a weapon is bad and lots of gunners get to shoot me, which is obviously not the case here. Go crouching here, see what we can do with this, eh? Liking the hipfire on this thing. Hipfire on this thing is very, very good. Got a reflex sight though, might as well use it for something, right? Do like the basket sights, they're really good. So definitely a very high quality weapon mod at this point. The reload animations, everything fits together really well. There's very little for me to complain about with this weapon. Why am I even worrying about looting these guys? Quickly dispatch of these turrets and we'll be done with this particular place. Without really breaking a sweat, honestly. We did well in there. So, yep, the UMP-45 does well against basic-ass human dudes. I'm standing on nothing. Nice. That's a new power that I've gained. Also, I've got some EMBs, so that's why it looks a little bit better. I like the lighting with this EMB mod. I think it's here to stay. Alright, so here we are in amongst Super Mutants department store, and yeah, these guys are a little bit more tanky than their Fallout 76 counterparts, so it'll be a nice test to see if this thing can defeat them as easily as we did the gunners, and obviously with those sneak attack criticals doing that much damage, that should be easy enough. And if you're wondering how I'm getting the floating damage numbers, that's like a frequently asked question that I get. Floating damage, on PC only, you need Fallout 4 script extender to do that. Oh shit, remember when VATS was like this? You just let the game slowly play itself instead of spamming crits all the time. Okay, I'll stop talking about 76 now. Except I won't, because Fallout 76 is getting some sort of floating damage component in the new updates, which is kind of interesting. Slipping out of danger, back into danger now. But we'll go full auto, see if we hit this guy in the face, he'll do a lot of damage. Oh yeah. A lot of damage out of this thing. Oh yeah, this can do it. This is not enhanced with any of the extra plus more damage things. This is just, you know, stock with all of the extra usual damage perks that you'd have. So no chems either, which is what I test weapons with anyway. If I really struggle with weapons, that's when I bring chems into the occasion. But yep, we don't need it for this thing. It's actually doing quite well. Let's go for some bat shots, shall we? Because been missing this cinematic view of things getting their heads blown off in slow motion, although I've got no gore on, so that doesn't happen, but at least it makes my game quicker. I can probably turn gore back on, to be honest, but bloody mess in this game is kind of hideous, so I don't want to. Alright, let's switch to our loud and proud one now. You had a real hard time shutting these guys up. See, level 127, and just to show off how much health that does. Okay, I said 1400. Maybe I'm thinking of when I have my endurance buff, but 1100. That's a lot of HP you have. If you had that in Fallout 76, you'd be tanky as hell, mate. And we've even got a legendary super mutant warlord in here. I wonder what he'll drop us. Let's have a look. He dropped crap. Alright, so only a little bit more for us to defeat in here, just a couple of rad roaches and a couple of doggos that'll just sort of spawn in out of nowhere. If I can't defeat these rad roaches, then I'm going to have a real problem with this weapon. Or a real problem with my gameplay. That one is even legendary, look at that. Alrighty, so there you have it. The UMP-45, or 9 in this case, doing pretty damn well in here. And even though these super mutants are tanky bastards, I still managed to clear them out very, very quickly indeed. So I guess we'll move on to some sort of monster now, eh? Alrighty, so I've picked quite a tanky enemy for us to use as our monster. He's got high perception too, so I'm hoping that with sneak attack criticals we can defeat him quickly, but if that isn't the case, we can just take him out with regular bullets anyway. I've got 2 criticals, may as well use them up first. 4.4 times sneak attack damage, thanks to Deacon's perk actually, get that extra 0.4 times out of that, which is nice. And now he can sit and watch the fireworks here. So hitting him for about 652, which is pretty damn solid. He's mutated now, which means he's doing a lot. He'd be doing a lot more damage to us, provided he can get the hits in. But at this point, he's sort of boxed himself into a place where he won't be able to jump up. The only thing he can do is sort of panic fire his sonic attacks at me, which I almost walked into just now. But he seems to be aiming a little bit too high. And as you can tell there, I think we're suffering a little bit at the range of this thing. See, when we were closer to him, I think we're in danger now. But yeah, when he was a little bit closer, we managed to get those headshots. We're hitting him for over 1k, which is pretty damn solid for this thing. So I'm pretty sure we're right to quickly finish this dude off like this. Maybe a couple more VAT shots. Oh, I've got the Mysterious Stranger. He comes in. That means our VATS round is over. Out of AP. Mysterious Stranger takes one for the team, possibly delaying the kill on me. Come on. A little bit closer. And there you have it. So if I'm really pushing the UMP to its limits with all the sneak attack criticals in the world with the automatic receiver, actually you can't get this semi-auto. Yeah, as you can tell, this thing is an extremely powerful weapon. Maybe too powerful. Like, if you put this next to a combat rifle, which, you know, ought to be firing the same rounds, at least when chambered in 45, it does a whole lot of damage. So, yeah. If you'd like to see this thing in your game, if this weapon tickles your fancy from what you've seen in the gameplay here, be sure to check out the description. I'll sure leave a link down there below. And I do highly recommend you download this mod because it is definitely a very, very solid weapon mod indeed. Yep, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you for watching, guys.